what do you do when you actually start doing the work, realizing where, you have definitely been falling short, and you actually correct it? And to your point about where there are plenty of women who don't want to take responsibility for their needs being met or not, then criticize the guys for changing, and I don't want to change. We'll
Hmm.
be fine if you just be the man I want you to be,
Yeah.
instead of the man that you want to be, that you are,
Right.
that you
Right.
recognize that you are.
Right. That is that's the biggest challenge these days. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
especially for men that we've been working with for a long time now, and they've done their work. Not that they're perfect or not that they've arrived, but I mean they've come a long way.
Yeah.
Um, but the popular zeitgeist hasn't shifted. As a matter of fact, it's becoming more and more extreme. Um, more it's less and less possible to have honest conversations because everybody's busy competing to see who can create the most powerful victim narrative and avoid taking responsibility for their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so the the evolution of what we do now, it's not just about helping men become the best version of themselves, although it starts there.
Right.
It's okay, now that you're the best version of yourself or you're well down the path to becoming that, how do you as an integrous self-aware man move forward in a world that in large part doesn't reward that or penalizes it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we find a lot of men now,
Yeah.
because I mean, men have been being told for 50 years that they're the problem and that they need to step up and they need to fix themselves. And so they step up and they fix themselves and nothing changes.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
they change. They're comfortable in their own skin. They're happy, healthy, and full of integrity and purpose and personal power and moving forward. But the partners haven't shifted. The women that they're meeting in bars or dating apps or wherever people meet people these days, they haven't shifted. That trend
Right.
is in the complete opposite direction of personal responsibility and integrity.
Yeah, and in a marital context, I mean, I'm thinking the two guys that I'm working with right now, where they are doing their work. They've grown a great deal. They're taking radical self responsibility. And one man is married to a woman who says, "Oh, I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I no, I think you're just, gaslighting me."
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking of another partner, another woman, who is noticing that a lot of what she was wanting from her man, he's been showing up to give it, but he's got his needs too. And she absolutely refuses to get any help, to do any work. And even the other day said to him, and this is verbatim quote, Don't try to change me. I don't want to change.
Well, that is a direct result of what we started out talking about,
Yeah.
which is this, affirming approach to psychological treatment.
Hmm.
And I mean, the huge majority of the women specific content that you read across popular media is, it's like the 70s have come back, except that they're now juiced up on steroids, the me generation.
Hmm.
And it's all about them. And basically in all of, like, cause I hear the videos, I see the videos, the Instagram reels, see the Huffington Post articles and all that stuff. And basically saying you don't have any, telling women that they don't have any responsibility to meet their man's needs in a relationship, that men's needs in a relationship are completely invalid
Yep.
or not their problem.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that the worst thing you can do, it's a setback for the feminist cause to care for your husband or your partner.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of why I like Lauren's videos so much. Because you can tell she wants to give her husband what he wants as much as she can, not just because she loves him, but because he shows up for her and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Well,
acknowledges he works his ass off. He he's giving the family everything I could want or ask for. And so why wouldn't I want to reciprocate that versus the more common trend that I'm seeing with a lot of the people I work with that stays in that groove of I'm home all day with the kids and he comes home from a 10 or 12-hour day and wants to relax and I'm pissed off because he got to, relax and rest all day while I was, single-handedly corralling the kids.
mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Guys who work 10, 12, 14 hours a day, they're not kicking back and chilling out. They're working. And they're working so that their partner, if this is what they want, that's an important condition, want to be a full-time mom, want to take the hit that creates in most families, then you he's doing his part. Your part is to fulfill and capitalize through your own resources on you getting what you said you wanted, which is to be a full-time stay-at-home mom.
Right.
But
Right.
that's not much
Yeah.
fun.
No. But see, that's the problem with this affirming approach to coaching and psychology is that it cultivates narcissism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, and eventually, which kind of manifests as scorekeeping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the problem with narcissists is they are incapable of seeing, in this case, their partner's contributions as
Mm-hmm.
equally valuable or equally challenging. They can only see their own problems, such as
Yeah.
they are.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason that depending on the study that you read, 70 to 80% of divorces are instigated by women. And most of those aren't instigated because the man's doing anything wrong. It's because they're just unhappy.
Yeah. If I go find another man, I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And and so, our responsibility is not to sit here and bash women. Our responsibility is to recognize the truth of this and support men in dealing with it in a good way, in the best possible way. And there aren't a lot of great options, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If any man makes his happiness and well-being dependent on someone else, it's you have to become capable of meeting your own needs. You have to become what I call emotionally self-sufficient.
Right.
And this is and spiritually self-sufficient. To me, this is what's been taught by every great spiritual master of every tradition for all of recorded human history. I mean, that's the way it is. You have to become emotionally self-sufficient. You have to become spiritually self-sufficient. Doesn't mean that you avoid relationships. It means that you don't use relationships to complete you,
Right.
to get your needs met. It's not Jerry Maguire was wrong. Jerry Maguire, that single line in Jerry Maguire did more damage to men than just about any single line in any movie in the last 40 years.
I would agree. You complete me. Ugh.
You complete me. Bullshit. If you are not complete unto yourself, you're going to have a really hard time being a good partner
Yeah.
to anyone else.
And it's
And
kind of
so that's the
ironic.
challenge.
Hmm.
Hmm?
Well,
Sorry,
and
go
I
ahead.
think, yeah, it's kind of ironic, just in my limited sample of clientele and whatnot. Younger, I'm noticing, and this is encouraging actually. For whatever reason, a lot of my newer clientele are kind of evenly split between people my age and people in their early to mid 20s. And one of the early 20-year-old couples I'm working with, who high school sweethearts, got married, and they've got this shit dialed in more than most of the middle-aged men that we work with.
That's great
Which
news.
gives me hope that,
That's right. Now suddenly there's hope.
yeah, yeah, but it is challenging, and it calls up the fact that probably the healthiest, most functional relationships I know of, a key reason that I think they are in that boat is because they keep evolving, not only with their own self sufficiency, but
Mhm.
supporting each other in continuing to grow and trusting that the relationship grows along with their individual personal growth. That can work in the long haul if you're staying
Mhm.
current and you have the best tools to work through
Right.
conflict and disagreements. But
Right.
you dig your feet in the sand, you must be my version of you.
Hmm.
There's nowhere to go. And some men who have been together with their wives 20, 30 years, they're leaving.
Hmm.
They're realizing I got 30, 40 good years left if I'm lucky. Do I really want to spend it being with someone who doesn't appreciate who I am? You know, it's a real bind that
Hmm.
is so prevalent.
Well, and the flip side of it is, I mean, and I say this semi-jokingly, it's not all women that buy
Right.
into getting life advice from Huffington Post and Instagram reels, but it does make from a male perspective, the women who are self-aware and that don't buy into um, the kind of the narcissistic approach to living, the what
Yeah.
about me approach to living, incredibly valuable and
Yeah.
incredibly sought after
Yep. Yeah.
because they
Because,
are out there.
yeah. Yeah. I met with a client last night who, I had to call out on, you want your husband to show up for you. And this guy is very unconnected to his masculine energy. So a lot of her complaints have a great deal of validity. But
Mm-hmm.
she owned where she shames him, swears at him, you know, called herself out in the session on, I can be a real bitch and I am not kind to him. And there's the difference between somebody who's really doing their work for real, going, she texted me later, I really heard you, and I went home and I apologized for how I've been treating him. Versus
Wow.
other women that might hear the exact same thing. And I am also with you that not all women do this. We're talking about human behavior, and women's behavior has a few bents that ours don't, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So, but compare that to a woman who hears that feedback, knows it's true, but doesn't have the self awareness and the commitment to her own integrity to go home and clean it up with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
That, get it, you're right, I need to stop doing that. And then they go home and do it all over again and don't own any of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and when you have kids involved, that makes it even more difficult and heartbreaking in ways. But I've always been a proponent that kids would much rather that they have two happy parents. And if that means they're not living together, they'll take the happiness over everybody living under one roof and being miserable and
Right.
shitting your interpersonal marital dynamics all over your children, directly or indirectly.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion. Um,
Yeah.
so, fellas, if any of what we've had to say has resonated with you and you had fleeting thoughts of, holy shit, oh my God, oh no, what am I going to do with this? Then please go to theundauntedman.com and you will see that there's this free ebook that is available about the masculine dilemma. And a lot of what we've been talking about today is one piece of the masculine dilemma. So you can download it, and then if you resonate with it, come back to the site and look at either trying out one of our groups, or you're welcome to get in touch with Mark or I if you'd like some support around any of this stuff that we've been discussing. Thank you for being with us today.